Let's get it.
Welcome, everybody, to the Fellowship in Righteous Manner podcast. It is time for us to get together, as we always do. Give the proper greeting. What up, world? It's the F.I.R.M. Appreciate y'all Saturday nights. Woo, man.
Greetings.
Let me calm down, you know what I'm saying? Because we got a show today.
Breathe, people,
all right. We gotta give some people at least a little bit of time to get in here. But I just want to say welcome to the F.I.R.M podcast, whether you're on Facebook or on YouTube. We appreciate you guys tuning in live 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, Saturday nights live. We go in right here, you know what I'm saying? We get into the nitty-gritty, into the deep, into the breadth, into the width, into the depths. You know what I'm saying? And we take it as wherever we can take it. The whole point is that we want to invite you guys to the table. Hope that you invite somebody else to the table. Let somebody know that we are live right now, right here on the F.I.R.M podcast. Go to the F.I.R.M 365 24/7 anywhere. The F.I.R.M 365 24/7 on Facebook, YouTube, or on Instagram. See what we got going on. Support us. Hit us, you know what I'm saying? The more support we get, the more content we give. We plotting on our own, but the truth is we appreciate you guys, you know what I'm saying? Everything that we built together. Everybody who is taking the time to tune into what we got going on here. We appreciate it. Hope it enriched you. You know what I'm saying? Hope you feel like you got a voice somewhere. You know what I'm saying? That's what we'd like to do here. So while we're on live, we encourage you all to drop a comment live. We like to talk to you. We like you talking to us. We like you to get involved in the conversation live, because later when we get off of here, this will still be on the F.I.R.M 365 pages all over social media, and other people will be able to glean, you know what I'm saying, from your wisdom. Or if we shut you down on a question or idea that you may have, because you know what I'm saying, get that up out of here. That ain't for the firm, that's for the weak. You know what I'm saying? This is only for the strong. This ain't for the weak. I mean, spiritually, you know what I'm talking about. But anyway, how you doing, my fellow co-host? How you doing, brother?
Man, what is going on? What is going on, everybody? Dale, we see you. We see you in the comment section, Dale. We see you. It is Saturday night, y'all. As Flavia said, we appreciate y'all's time. There's a whole lot going on tonight. For those who don't know, there's March Madness that's happening right now, the Final Four. I'm telling you right now, North Carolina is shut down right now. Like I'm from North Carolina, you know what I'm saying? So I know when it comes to college basketball, you got UNC and Duke in the Final Four playing each other right now as we speak. North Carolina, I mean, bro, stores were closing down early for tonight. like that's how crazy it is. So you know, so shout out to UNC and Duke, North Carolina. We got March Madness going on, and believe it or not, Flav, I know we made some jokes about it earlier between yesterday and today, but WrestleMania is actually going on as well.
WrestleMania. Okay. Oh yeah.
As well. So it's
disconnected. I don't even know who's in there, but I hope somebody wins.
Right. So you know, so there's a lot going on. Entertainment value there's a lot going on. So we definitely appreciate y'all coming on to the F.I.R.M podcast.
That's right.
And enjoying the night with us. So it's a beautiful thing. We appreciate that, man. But to answer your question, man, I'm doing good.
Okay.
You know, I'm doing good. I'm doing well, man. Life is good. Brother Dale want to let everybody know to go Duke. That's who we hoping for tonight. And yes, Brother Glenn, we will be touching on the slap heard across the world.
Here's the question. Man, don't give it all away. You know what I'm saying?
Look, hey,
bro, some lately.
Hey, Glenn, your gift was working. Your gift was working, my brother.
Lately.
So
they been fresh out. Fresh out.
They, you know, and
ain't no more.
I knew when he did what he did.
Hold on, hold yourself.
No. I'm not going to go into it. You know,
okay.
I just knew that the memes were coming and the video was coming, and y'all, some of them were hilarious. They were hilarious, y'all. So, you know, but that's the world we live in. You know what I mean? But outside of that, man, I'm doing good, man. Just relaxing right now. Been busy. I've been on the road a whole lot with work. So you know, I'm bouncing from different places, man. Just you know, just being a team player, as they say, being a team player. So I'm doing good, man. But Flav, my brother, my co-host, my homie since 2000.
Sheesh.
How you doing? How you feeling? How you living?
Good. You know what I'm saying? I got some tacos from the green room. You know what I mean? Got some chicken tacos. You know what I mean? A little lime in here. I don't know what y'all I don't know what y'all snacking on. You know what I mean? A little rice, little Spanish rice. Huh?
Yeah,
okay.
I got the wafer.
Okay, you already
I got the strawberry wafers. I got the strawberry wafers.
Okay. You beat me to it.
I got the Zoa. You know,
Zoa. Shout out to the Rock. Okay, I mean, well, the topic of conversation tonight won't be that Rock, but anyways, glad you're doing well, man. I'm doing well too, man. I'm excited. I got a full night planned. You know what I'm saying? Had a full week. It's been fun. You know what I'm saying? I got a lot going on. The schedules are, you know, getting busier. You know what I mean? So if anybody hadn't heard from me lately, y'all already know. Ain't no love lost. You know what I'm saying? I'm in the prayer closet for you, about you. Are you in the prayer closet about the F.I.R.M? About you listening to me? You know what I'm saying? Are y'all in the prayer closet? Are y'all really just kind of spectating, or you want us to succeed? It's a lot of, you know what I'm saying, hurdles out there. It's a lot of stumbling blocks out there. It's a lot of, you know what I mean, misconceptions out there. It's a whole lot of emotions in 2022. But I mean, here at the F.I.R.M podcast, we ready to talk about it all. You know what I'm saying? That's all we can say for sure. So without further ado, for those of you who know and those of you who don't know, we want to welcome you to the F.I.R.M podcast.
Be released from that anger, resentment, and bitterness. You know, that's evident.
Our context on it, and it kind of changed the definition.
Convinced himself that he's sufficient for himself.
I love discipleship. Why I love mentoring.
The us and the us and them is ever growing.
Facebook posts, Instagram posts, just another way of connecting with people.
Saturday, 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time for another great conversation on F.I.R.M podcast. What up, world? This is the F.I.R.M. That's right. What y'all on today? Topic of discussion for the F.I.R.M podcast table for the night.
Mm-hmm.
is fresh out of control.
Ooh.
Fresh out. You ever been to a store? You ever went somewhere and you stood in line?
Charlie,
You was waiting. You know what I'm saying, for your turn to get that. You could taste it. You could smell it. You knew by the time you got up there, you knew exactly what you was about to order. You got all the way up the line. You ordered your, you know what I'm saying, ordered your what your selection is, and they say, "We're sorry, we're all out of meat."
Mm.
I'm sorry, we're all out of tortilla shells. Man, I'm sorry, the grill just went out. We all out of hot items. Can I offer you some ice cream or some fries? It's not the same. It's not the same. Because you know what I'm saying? When you have something in that you want, that you desire, that you've been striving for, you know what I'm saying? Only movies can describe the passion that you have at going after that thing. And to hear, we're all out. I'm sorry, we're fresh out. I mean, we just ran out. Had you got here just a minute, if just a millisecond of change, you know, maybe. That's how some people are experiencing 2022. You know, they feel like the control that they had on the world, the control that they had in their life, the control that they were experiencing or witnessing, or the control that was being conveyed to them, the American dream, the control that people believe is possible to achieve. Some people just, you know, slip through their fingers. They didn't get it. You listen, you know what I'm saying? They didn't get y'all. And for them, that control, it was something. It was something that happened, you know what I'm saying? We said it in the, if you read in the subject line, has your life ever gone from calm to chaotic? And you seem to be the only person that's unable to accept it. It could be with our emotions, our mental health, our cherished relationships that somehow become chaotic. And if we're not careful, we'll be just like the person on the other side of the counter, disappointing people in the world, disappointing the people around us, disappointing the people that have come to us in need. We find ourselves saying, fresh out of control. There's no more here. Beyond this point, it's just chaos. You know what I'm saying? Man. That's the premise of the conversation, and we're going to go deeper than that. Y'all may think we laid it out, but you listen, you know what I'm saying? Open it up for us real quick.
Oh, hey, listen. Fresh out of control. What does that look like? What does that mean?
Yeah. What's your take on this?
We got some, there's some things that words cannot really express, right? When it comes to from being calm to chaotic.
Okay.
Especially when you desire something, when you need, or when you have a craving for something. You know, for those who've been pregnant, they know they get these cravings, right? So, so take that to a whole other level of, so we crave things like, one of the most popular things you forgot to mention, Flavis, was you go to Mickey D's to get some ice cream, and the machine is broke.
Why can't I have a warm apple pie and a vanilla ice cream? You don't know what I want to do with this combination. You don't know what this means to me. I'm sorry.
I've been there, man. Like I've driven 15, sometimes 20 minutes out the way. Like, come on, kids, let's go get some ice cream.
Yeah, and we on the way.
And then the kids are upset now. You're like, we know, like, hey, it's out of our control, but the kids don't know that, right? The kids are like, what do you mean? Like, what you said, Daddy, you said, Mommy, that we was gonna get some ice cream. And now, because the ice cream machine broke,
Yeah.
And because they getting on your nerves, now you getting upset. You know what? Nobody getting nothing for the rest of the night. When we get home, y'all going straight to bed. I mean,
we ain't never eating McDonald's again.
Ever.
I told myself the last time the machine had went out, you know what I'm saying? I was being all nice and Christian-like, you know what I'm saying? But this time, I'm done with McDonald's. I shouldn't be eating that type of food anyways. I've been on a diet since 3 years ago, and I ain't been able to, you know what I'm saying, hit my goals because of McDonald's. You know what I'm saying? It ain't working. Yeah, I tap danced around that, you know what I'm saying? But that's the, the reality.
And ain't nothing wrong with Dairy Queen, Glenn. Ain't nothing wrong with Dairy Queen. Go ahead and get the Blizzard.
Man. I don't know why people be tapping out on Dairy Queen. Shout out to Dairy Queen out here. You know what I'm saying?
Man.
Faithfully giving us ice cream that we can't buy nowhere else. I don't know what that ice cream is made of, but it seems to be the best. You know what I'm saying? But anyway.
We digress from ice cream. But so
it never melts.
fresh out of control, man, is really trying to the emotions kicking in.
Yeah.
Everything is calm 1 second. All of a sudden things are only chaotic. Things are only chaotic when we feel like it's not in our control.
True.
If you really think about it, we only call something crazy, chaotic, oh my gosh, oh what's happening, whatever the case is, when we cannot control it. If it was under our control, then it's not really chaotic. It's just a nuisance. It's annoying. It's whatever.
I understand.
So here we are, fresh out of control. When it's out of your control, how do you handle what's out of your?
How do you handle it? How do you handle it? Indeed, is the question that we're asking tonight. You know what I'm saying?
Man.
Just like, you know what I mean, fresh. You know what I'm saying? The Fresh Prince.
Fresh Prince.
Just like, let me get it together. Just like the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air himself, Will Smith, on the cusp of the revitalization of the, you know what I'm saying, the brand that was the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air. When they got to roll out, you know what I'm saying, people got their contradictory views on other sides or all sides of the aisle on how they feel about the rebranding of the Bel-Air family that we all grew up, knew and loved. You know what I'm saying? But if you did watch, you know what I'm saying, or if you have been paying attention, or somehow you've been living under a rock and you don't know that Will Smith was in the news lately, you know what I'm saying? We're going to inform you about some things tonight. You know what I'm saying? So basically, to kick off this discussion, we got to put things into perspective. You know what I'm saying? And the perspective is sometimes even the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air is fresh out of control.
Richard. Oh, wow. Will Smith.
The feed goes silent, and so does the audience after Will Smith takes a swing at Chris Rock on stage at the Oscars. It all went down after Chris made a crack about Will's wife, Jada Pinkett Smith, and her shaved head.
Jada, I love you. G.I. Jane 2, can't wait to see it. All right? That was a nice one. Okay.
While Will appears to laugh at first, things immediately turn sour as he takes to the stage, slapping Chris straight across the face. But international markets saw the feed in full. Will shouting at the top of his lungs, "Keep my wife's name out of your mouth." Clearly shaken and unsure how to proceed, Chris responds the best way he knows how, with another joke.
That was greatest night in the history of television. Okay.
A source tells ET, quote, "The theater was silent after Will got up and hit Chris. No one could tell if it was staged or a joke at first. It was incredibly awkward for the whole audience. Will's friends and team have been trying to calm him down." As for why the joke may have hit a nerve for the couple, Jada was diagnosed with alopecia in 2018, a hair loss condition which she has spoken about publicly many times.
And y'all know I've been struggling with alopecia, and just all of a sudden one day, look at this line right here. Look at that. Look at that. And so it just showed up like that. Now this is gonna be a little bit more difficult for me to hide. So I thought I'd just share it so y'all not asking any questions.
It's also worth noting, Chris made digs about Jada when he hosted the show back in 2016 too. So there's history here. Will got a chance to address the incident when he won the Best Actor honor, his first ever Academy Award.
You got to be able to have people talk crazy about you. In this business, you got to be able to have people disrespecting you. And you got to smile and you got to pretend like that's okay. Art imitates life. I look like the crazy father, just like they said. I look like crazy father, just like they said about Richard Williams. But love will make you do crazy things.
All right, you guys, on March 27, 2000, this year, March 27, during a live television broadcast of the 94th Academy Awards, actor Will Smith walked on stage and slapped comedian Chris Rock across the face as he presented the awards for Best Documentary. I know some people believed that when he had originally got slapped, that he was supposed to be presenting the Oscar for Best Actor, and somehow the slap jogged his mind. And he was like, the documentary. And y'all thought, you know what I'm saying? There's a lot of memes.
The conspiracy theorists,
A lot of memes, but the truth is he was there to present the award for Best Documentary. Just before Chris had acknowledged Smith's wife, Jada Pinkett Smith, with a joke about her shaved head. Pinkett Smith, who suffers from alopecia areata, if I said that right, was seated next to Will Smith and did not appear amused. And so here we find a situation where the unknown played a role in chaos. Let's just call it what it is. We're not, you know what I mean, here to do anything but discuss the facts. You know what I mean? This happened at the Oscars. Believe it or not, Will Smith, out of all the movies, and you know his movies can fit in different categories and genres. Out of all the movies he's ever done, this was his first Oscar. And Denzel Washington said something that stood out to me, you know what I'm saying, and the rest of y'all for the fellowship. He said, Will Smith quoted that he told him that sometimes when you're at your greatest height, that's when the devil will show up, try to knock you down.
man. That's tough. That's tough, man. There's several things that called to my mind, you know, which is for me the obvious. We all saw the clip that he was laughing with Chris Rock when the joke first took place. Then we all saw the eye roll. Yeah, we saw the eye roll from the wife, and then the camera pans out, thinking nothing of it. So only one can assume.
Mm-hmm.
Only one can assume that Jada did something, said something, looked a certain type of way that made Will react.
I mean, if you was with your woman and you was in a public setting and somebody said something, regardless, they could have put up the bird and all that good stuff. But either way, if somebody caused that type of reaction out of your loved one or your woman, would there be a response? Is it easier to articulate what we would do as opposed to, you know, as far as a hypothesis? Or like, can you imagine being in that shoes and your significant other, somebody publicly, somebody out loud stood up in the crowd and said something to your loved one, What do you think your response would be?
I'm gonna tell you a true story. A true story. Kind of different scenario, but still true enough.
Give it to us.
Went on a cruise. Okay. Went on a cruise, having a great time.
Where? Where was you headed?
We went to like 3 different places, man. Lord, my memory. Okay. My memory says. We went to Cozumel.
Okay.
We went to I can't remember the other 2. But
y'all was out somewhere. Y'all wasn't going like American coast to coast. Y'all was out there.
Yeah, we was out there.
The islands.
Went on a cruise in 2017, and everything the whole trip was great. We got to the last night. You know, my family and I, we've been doing karaoke. The kids been doing karaoke. Man, just having a blast. My daughter at that time was 17 years old, 16, 17.
Okay.
My daughter loved, if anybody knows my children, they know that both of them can sing and they both love to sing. Some guy who was in his mid-20s was drinking a little too much that night. Drinking just a tad bit too. No, he was drinking a whole lot last night. That night.
Okay,
and
gotcha. Go ahead. Don't let me just.
All of a sudden, he just yells out, "Talia, you look fine."
Oh. To your daughter?
To my daughter, my underage daughter.
Had us a liquid courage, huh?
I mean, it was me, my boy, the family that we were with, my boy, the ex-wife and his wife were sitting to my right.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden I heard that thing. My ears done perked up.
Yeah.
I sat up. I looked just like that. And and the ex-wife was like, she put her hand on my leg, was like, babe, don't let it go. My boy was like, hey, whenever you're ready, I'm ready with you. It's almost like the angel in one ear, the devil in the other. You know what I mean?
It's an angel. Well, I'm gonna let the audience decide who's who. Go ahead.
Right. The angel with the dude, like, bro, I got you, bro. The other, the wives were like, no, I mean, they were like telling me, do not get up. Do not get, because you disrespected my daughter.
Whoa.
You know what I mean? I don't know you. I don't know you. You're drunk, but come on now. Make a long story short, not only were the wives able to calm us down, but everybody that was around, because they knew my children. My children became super popular at the cruise because they sang all the time. So they were able to calm us down. Whatever the case was, the guy ended up getting in trouble, getting kicked out, not allowed to come back because he was, whatever the case was. But it was a moment where my emotions was like, you disrespected my daughter. You know what I mean? As a father.
So what did you do? Did you be cool, or did you let loose?
Kept it cool because everybody else was handling me.
Okay. So you had your goons on. Praise the Lord.
But now here's the thing with the whole Will situation. It's not like Will doesn't know Chris Rock.
Right. They all running them circles.
They all run. It doesn't like it.
But what happens when it's one thing when somebody that's bigger than you, stronger than you, is like every award show. Your wife protesting the award show. You know what I mean? People having problems with the level of or caliber of movies that they're making, the circles that they hold, but everybody's getting the Oscar except for these two individuals. For years, somebody bigger, Mike Tyson style, is out there cracking jokes. Y'all ain't getting it. You wasn't never invited in the first place. G.I. Jane 2. That it would be, you would see it as bullying. But sometimes it'd be somebody smaller. Sometimes it'd be the smallest brother. Smallest people in society. You know what I'm saying? The frailest folks that got the nerve to say something to your face. And the truth is,
that's tough.
Anybody can be pushed to the limit. We have the this is different than hindsight because we're witnesses of this situation. We can hypothesize what we would do all day long, how I would handle it, how you would handle it. Like you said, you had an example of how you handle things. There was a little bit of I ain't gonna say that you put the dam down. I'm gonna say there was some holes in there to let the pressure out because you said other people was taking care of
it. Yes.
And I'm sure they wasn't taking care of it the way you wanted to. But the question becomes like, just because somebody is small, just because somebody is skinny, just because somebody can't hang in the fight, does that mean that everybody out here that really can't fight can just say whatever to your face?
Just
because you go ahead.
No, very good question, and it really ties into what to what you if you can't post up what Glenn said, because I wanted to address that.
Okay.
Glenn said, look, so what he says is that we have no idea how many times he was holding his crying wife over her losing her beauty, quote unquote. What would you do if you saw that look on her face again? Caused by
bruh.
Here's the thing.
I showed up at grown men's doorstep.
Now it is a tough situation, tough topic of conversation, because as a husband, as a man, this is like there's certain unwritten rules that as a man, what you're supposed to do, right? Which leads men to do things that's out of their character.
Right.
Now, what we do know about Will's wife is she also knows Chris Rock.
True.
She also knows that he's a comedian.
They got history.
It's not the first time that he's made fun of her.
But this is the straw that broke some weak candle and some weak camel we never ever heard of. Broke his back.
That's what they want you to believe. Right?
Yeah.
It's the whole, how can we shine a light and make somebody look like the victim? When, everybody has been roasted. In that whole Hollywood circle, everybody's being roasted. So unfortunately, it comes with the territory.
Right.
Now to make her, could be, she had her I'm Jada Pinkett Smith, and the hair that I did have, I don't have no more. I feel like I'm ugly, and Will had to hold her and all that stuff. I get it. I understand. I'm with it.
Thought she was ugly, but go ahead.
Right. I'm with it. But here's the thing. As a man, even if nobody has a right to say, we could go on the whole line, skinny, it's always the chihuahuas that always bark the loudest, right? That's the whole mentality of
get all the dogs in the neighborhood going.
Right. So, but as a man, and I think Hiram said earlier, it could be PTSD, it could be whatever the case is, but either way, something happened that caused Will to operate out of control.
So it was a series of things that played a role to this us witnessing this aspect of Will's character. You know, the biggest thing that I was catching was so many people's response in saying they were caught off guard. They couldn't believe what their eyes were seeing. You know what I mean? They were witnesses to it. They just couldn't believe it. They were like, oh my God, that must have been fake. Maybe that slap, you know, let me go to some old clip of him slapping some kid fake, which is totally different because there was a hand that connected. I don't know what made the sound that you think is fake that hit Chris's face, but it sounded real to me. But problem becomes not necessarily the action, because anybody can be caught off guard. That's the truth. Anybody walking out there thinking that can't nobody be caught off guard, you know, you don't come over here preaching that mess over here. Everybody has been caught by something. Yeah. Whatever that series of emotions, circumstances, losses, disappointments, upsets, whatever the case may be, we've all been there at some point. And in that moment, some of us have been caught up trying to explain it, trying to explain what we did in that moment that was so different than the character that we had. Which brings me to my next clip that I want to include just for the topic. Shout out to Marvel and everybody, you know what I'm saying? You know how we do. But I wanted to play this clip because it gives a spin on a fictional character, but it brings to light dissociative identity disorder. And I believe that's like sometimes people get caught up in this routine. You know, a disorder, a lot of people, when you talk about certain disorders, there's a person that's afraid of spiders. They don't know they have arachnophobia. There's a person that's over here dealing with stress and anxiety. They don't know they have anxiety disorder. There's a person over there dealing with post-traumatic stress. They don't know why they freak out before anything happens, just at the thought of that thing possibly happening, or calculating the possibility. The percent is highly likely that this thing will happen again, and the stress kicks in, or ahead of time. The problem is not these different characteristics that are written in the book about disorders. It's the fact that when it becomes a disorder, it means that somehow this thing is causing a disruption in your life. Somehow, absent this level, this out of control thing, if you were just a little bit lower on your stress level, you wouldn't be bipolar, but you're peaking. But either way, these are disorders. One thing they told me about obsessive compulsive disorder, they said a lot of people are obsessive, a lot of people are compulsive, a lot of people are obsessive and compulsive. But when it becomes a disorder, it means that it's disrupting your natural flow of life. It's disrupting your ability to sign the dotted line and follow through with it. So regardless of disorders, dissociative identity disorder, it plays out in a lot of people who it may not be a disorder. They could be successful. They could be famous. They could be out here thriving, going through life like everybody. But it shows up, or you witness it, when they start trying to disassociate themselves with an aspect of their own identity. It may be an aspect of your own identity that you're ashamed of, that you have a problem with. You know what I'm saying? But in this clip, shout out to everybody at Marvel. You know what I'm saying? This is a new series called Moon Knight that we're up on right now. You know what I'm saying? And it is a character that has a whole lot of fictional flying and jiving and all that good stuff. But he is experiencing dissociative identity disorder. There are aspects of his psyche that he has separated from himself. Let's check it out.
I'm losing it. I have a sleeping disorder. I can't tell the difference between life and dream. Yeah.
What's wrong with you, Mark?
Why did you call me Mark? It must be very difficult. Voice in your head. There's chaos in you. Embrace the chaos.
There's something that caught me in that clip, and it was with the words that was said, embrace the chaos. And that's what a lot of people have chosen to do, man. They feel like they're tired of making up excuses for an aspect of their identity or something that somebody witnessed. Oh, when they snapped, they lost control. It was a moment, but there are people who had those moments a long time ago. Unlike Will Smith, who just recently had his, a lot of us have had those times a long time ago. And we're tired of explaining the scenarios, all the details, all the, you know what I'm saying, all everything that played a role in somehow making or giving you some type of logic or taking the insanity out of what you saw me doing. Yeah, I'm a preacher. Let me explain. Yeah, I committed adultery before, but God has changed my life. I'm out here trying to do right. I'm married and I ain't never cheated in my new marriage. Or, you know, I had a relationship and I just secretly accused my spouse of doing everything bad, and all they did, I know it. I do it in every relationship. I know they were doing me right. Or it may be somebody who's out there on a job. Every time you get a brand new job, for some reason, you can't help but take some type of pencil, paper, toilet paper. I don't know. You're taking supplies from work. Some of y'all work in apparel shops like I used to way back in the day, and you're stealing hats. You need to stop that. But every time, every time you get an opportunity to get a new advancement, a new job, for some reason, you keep messing up, keep doing something crazy. And some people are tired of disassociating themselves. It don't fly that wasn't me no more. And they tired of the fact that they had to keep on explaining it. So some people are actually embracing the chaos. They like, get it. I'm out here now. I don't know how I got here. I know it's this and it's that and it's all this stuff that got me here, but I'm out here now and I'm just going with it. It's whatever now. I'm fresh out of control. I had control, but now I'm fresh out. You can't get none of that here. You know what I'm saying? Everything you get from me is chaos. I'm embracing it.
It's tough. It's tough, man, because again, like even in Will's situation where 15 minutes later he ended up winning the award and going up there to give a 5-minute speech on explaining his behavior, trying to explain the behavior away. In tears. Explain his behavior, the hardship, the struggle, you just don't understand. And so that whole aspect of it, and I love how you were able to make that connection of, you know, basically, is there somebody else inside of me that needs to come out? You know what I mean? And like, if for those who haven't watched, you know, the first episode of Moon Knight, watch it, because it is a very interesting dynamic of understanding that the chaos inside of you supposedly is stronger and better than the persona that you give. You know what I mean? And so, and a lot of people have, you know, in this society, in this culture, you know, you look weak if you don't do something. You look weak. You're not man enough. You're not strong enough. You're not whatever enough if you don't do something. And me being married at one point for 23 years.
Yeah.
I've done things that were out of my character because I wanted to show that I'm a man enough. That I'm that type of material. I'm husband material. I'm father material. I'm, you know, whatever material. to show and prove. Like, you're not going to disrespect me. Like, at the job where I had bosses and plain out disrespect me. And me being the peacemaker, me being, oh man, you know what? Talking about it, like, I'm like, this is how God wants me to respond. Then you have other people, especially at work, y'all, who are not saved. Whoa, I want to let them talk to me like that. If they talk to me like that, boy, I would. Right? So now all of a sudden, now when it's your turn, it's like, now I gotta show myself up. Now I gotta show out. Because if I don't want to appear weak. And there's a fear in appearing weak. So it brings out the quote unquote, the identity crisis. From what it is that you know what is right, even if you look crazy, versus what is wrong, but it makes you look like you about it. Like you about that life. Like everybody knew the way that even Will cussed. It wasn't even thug. It wasn't even thug.
He definitely a slap type brother.
Right. So, real men punch. You know what I mean? Like if it was really that serious, like, whatever. But at the end of the day, the chaos that the world wants to perpetrate, it wants to bring out of people to make it seem normal. You're supposed to react this way. This is how you're supposed to do things.
Sometimes, man,
it's opposite of the kingdom.
It's the opposite. Say it again.
It's opposite of the kingdom.
And sometimes in opposition of the kingdom, in opposition of fellowship and in righteous manner, in opposition, you can see where the line is drawn and what's on the other side of that line, because a lot of people are talking about that. Just what you said. It's the wounded little me inside of me. It's the angry me inside of me. It's the depressed me. That's not how I always am, but there's a little depressed me inside of me that needs healing, that needs to be heard, that needs to come out, that needs to just be let loose, that needs to just embrace the chaos. And a lot of times, that's what's leading to a lot of people's demise, why they're crying about what the devil is tearing up in their lives. The truth is, the devil is one hand and their hand is the other.
Yeah.
Because they can't accept that they, at some point, lost control. At some point, you tried your best. You gave it everything you got. You did everything you were supposed to do. It wasn't perfect, but you did. You leagues above the rest. Classic, one of a kind, high ranking. And somebody pushes your button. And so many people walk away from that situation. The aftermath, they are fully ignoring that everything is out of control. And because of maybe public, maybe social media, maybe because of what they're responsible for, what people expect of them, the caliber of individual that they've been all this time, they can't find their way. But they feel like they somehow have to muster up and show people, I'm still who I used to be. When you're on the other side of everything being out of control, even while you're trying to convince people that you are still who you used to be, you're dealing with things that are out of your control. You're telling people, making promises, declaring things in God that don't never come to pass. Why? Because you're declaring these things, you're prophesying and speaking this word, making plans in the chaos. And the fact is, just like a terrible person at an AA meeting, you cannot admit that you have a problem. Some people cannot admit that they lost control a long time ago. And then the rest of us got to hear all the rest of Hollywood talking all over social media this week, or any news report giving their scoop on the Will Smith situation. And they're all shocked. They're all surprised. They're all trying to give some reason why this person is exhibiting something that they've never seen in them before. They're chastising them for what they've done. And many of y'all have gone through the same thing privately, not publicly, but you're trying to disassociate yourself with that aspect of your personality. You're trying to deal with yourself in a divisive way. And the Bible says that a kingdom divided against itself cannot stand. Especially for those of you who the Bible says the kingdom is within you. A kingdom divided against itself cannot stand. A double-minded man is unstable in all his ways. So when you choose more than one path, more than one way, when you see your life going in 50 different directions, the worst thing you can do is say, God, I got it.
Woo.
You don't know what you're going to do next. You're denying the fact that everything is out of your control. You're in the worst position that you can possibly be in internally, and you're denying, telling everybody you're okay. You don't know what's going to happen next. You don't know what you'll do in that condition. You have no idea how far you'll take it. You know what I'm saying? And that's the issue that we're trying to get across here today, that it is very important for you to recognize when you're fresh out of control, because it could be the difference between a situation like the clip that we're getting ready to pull up next. There's a guy, I don't know if you guys heard about this. It's been 4 months in the making. There's a ex-NFL player. His name is Zach Stacy. The former NFL running back was accused of brutally beating the mother of his infant son inside her Florida home. This happened down in Florida. He allegedly told the police that his ex-girlfriend staged the November 13th attack, which was caught on video. And we're going to look at that video today. Zach Stacy was arrested as he exited a flight from Nashville at Orlando International Airport November 18th, according to the police in Oakland, Florida. Hours earlier, authorities urged the former running back to turn himself in after video showed the woman, who has publicly been identified as Kristen Evans. She was being attacked. So I want to throw this caution out there like we did in the beginning. This ain't for the faint of heart, but this is a situation that I believe perfectly exemplifies what happens in denial of being fresh out of control.
News tonight, former NFL player Zach Stacy is in the Orange County jail tonight. He was arrested as soon as he landed at OIA late last night, just hours after we first showed you the video of what appears to be him attacking his ex-girlfriend. Fox 35's Dave Puglisi has been with this breaking exclusive information on the story. So, Dave, Stacy appeared in court but hasn't posted bail yet.
John, that's right. He's going to remain locked up here until he can turn over his passport. We're told that he didn't have it when he landed in Orlando to turn himself in.
Zachary Stacy, Sr.
A shackled and masked Zach Stacy, once used to hearing his name announced in NFL stadiums, is now hearing it in an Orange County courtroom. Stacy facing charges stemming from this violent encounter. Stacy's ex-girlfriend, Kristen Evans, is the woman you see being ragdolled in front of her 5-month-old son. She spoke exclusively with Fox 35 as she tried to find a safe place to stay.
Every time a car has passed by, I am resisting the urge to look to see who it is. I started crying when you walked up because I'm scared, you know?
Stacy turned himself into police Thursday night after he learned of a warrant out for his arrest.
Our original plan was that we were going to meet at the Orange County Jail, surrender him there, but apparently someone recognized him in the airport, and Orlando Police Department made the arrest on site.
Stacy's legal team now trying to uncover all the facts in the case.
First and foremost, we don't know if that's the entire video. There is a rule of what they call the rule of completeness. One of the first things that we're going to want to know in this case is whether that's the absolute, complete, full video from start to finish, and that it has been not edited, altered, or tampered with in any way, shape, or form.
Our safety is the #1 concern right now. After a terrifying experience, I'm grateful that Zach Stacy is currently in police custody. At present, I have filed a restraining order and plan on filing a civil complaint. Evans went on in her statement to say that to call out Commissioner Roger Goodell of the NFL, saying that he should do more to help people struggling with PTSD from consistent concussion-like symptoms. So I'm told that this weekend she's going to be using that time to decompress from this week's events. In Orlando, Dave Puglisi, Fox 35 News.
Woo! Man. I don't know if y'all heard that story, but that was earlier this year. You know what I mean? It was a situation that kicked off November 13th, and the guy was on the run. You know what I'm saying? So, like you said, we cautioned everybody as far as the violent nature of that video. You know what I'm saying? But we had to show you sometimes when you turn a naked eye to outrage, it can not necessarily affect the person that you're trying to protect. You know, those enablers that we've heard about throughout society that play a role in ignoring warning signs and other people that clearly point to some type of detriment to the surrounding citizens. You know what I'm saying? And sometimes ignoring those signs is the first steps in enabling. But it's not the people who enable that we're, you know what I'm saying, think that, or like you said, POS. It's the fact that how can somebody who makes $1 million a year, who lived their whole life in achievement mode, ever since they were young, their definition of failure and success had nothing to do with money, had nothing to do with how many friends they had nothing to do with how many girls they had, but it had to do with their athleticism. Physically, what they could do through the nature of their own body. And that life is a whole different lifestyle. But for somebody like that to go to that much of a switch, for somebody to go to that level, and many of us, you know, the truth is, they'll call you the same thing. There's some of us who people have called worse. You know what I'm saying? For the things that we've done. Everybody don't know them. Everybody don't get their circumstances, their situation that's identical or likewise or just as damaging to their character. It's not in public eye. It's not right. It's not on social media. It's not on the news. And those people called us things worse. And people and we've lived with that. But the point of that video, Ulysses, you know what I'm saying, and I'll end with this, was to show that just like the person at Alcoholics Anonymous meetings, you have to first admit that you have a problem. You have to first admit that you have lost control. Not that you may be personal. It may be you lost control of your relationship. It may be you lost control of your narrative. Maybe you lost control of achieving dreams in the you know, how often your track record can't speak for what you're doing now or what you've done. At some point, you have to acknowledge that things are out of your control.
Right.
It could be mentally, emotionally, whatever, on whatever level. The moment you acknowledge that it is out of control, the moment you accept it, those of you who pray to God, you'll go to God with a whole different conversation. You know, and until you accept something, you can't go and make requests when you're in denial. Sometimes God don't ask you about all the details and stuff like that, but you can't go in denial. But once you make that decision, you'll go to God asking different questions. Okay, God, I'm not asking you how I got in the storm. I'm not asking you how severe the storm is going to be. I'm here now. I recognize it. What do I do from this point on? And the results of acceptance could lead you away from a situation like what we just saw. Go ahead.
You know, Flav, I think, you know, what is here's another thing to look at. It wasn't like they just met, fell in love, and then one day he just picked her up and threw her against the TV. There's always an escalation. One thing is kind of like when sex as an example.
Yeah.
For the most part in relationships, one thing eventually leads to another, especially when you're trying not to, right? One thing leads to another. When you look at violence, it always starts off with something small. It starts with the yelling. It starts with the cussing. It's the whole, when you draw that line in the sand, you better not cross this line. And then they cross that line. Okay, don't cross this line. And then they end up crossing that line. So there's always a level of escalation. It starts off with a disrespect. It starts off, whatever the case is, a true story that I lived was in my previous marriage. Like, I've never hit a woman in my life. Never hit a woman in my life. But there was one time, if I can be honest, there was one time where I was super close. And literally, y'all, I came home one night from a work meeting. The ex thought I was out doing something with somebody else. Y'all already know what that something somebody else can mean. For 4 hours. 4 hours she was following me around the house, accusing me, calling me a liar, calling me this for 4 hours. Literally, I got home like at 11 o'clock, 10 or 11 o'clock that night to like 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning. I had to get up to work the next day at 6. And this is a true story. This is how crazy the enemy works. At one point in where I was being followed around the house, I went upstairs, and I could just see she's yelling at me still for 4 hours now. I'm saying 4 hours for a reason, because man, 4 hours, that's a long time. I got to the top of the stairs. She for like the 120th time, she called me a liar. You're lying. I know you was doing something. You're nothing but a liar. Right then and there, y'all. She was at the bottom of the steps. I was at the top. Maybe a good 15, maybe like good 10 to 12 steps. That was separating.
Steps in a single bound.
So
go ahead.
Right. So all I heard was a voice. And a picture, a vision popped in my head. And the vision was her with no teeth. Caution.
Your audience was up.
It was a vision of her with no teeth. And I just heard a voice. I literally heard the voice that said, if you knock her teeth out, she'll stop talking. 4 hours, I was desperate, y'all. All of a sudden, I heard my mind snap. I heard it snap. And I started flying down the stairs. I had my fist cocked back. So I had all the momentum in the world. I was going to knock her teeth out. 3/4 of the way down the stairs, I literally heard my mind snap back into place. Realized what I was getting ready to do. Shifted my fist and busted a hole straight through the wall. And I proceeded to cuss her out like I've never cussed out a girl before. Screaming at the top of my lungs, to the point that I completely lost my voice. But that was escalation. One thing was leading to another, was leading to another, was leading to another. Not condoning what the guy did. It was completely wrong. If I would have knocked her out, there would have been no excuse for that. They would have told you, why didn't you walk away? Why didn't you go for a drive? Eventually, that's what I did. I realized that if I didn't leave that house, it would have been worse than a hole in the wall. And literally, y'all, even to the point of even leaving the house was a battle. I left for a few hours, came back, more calm, more relaxed, more whatever, and she was still trying to fight. She was still trying to fight. Before I left the house, I realized I had lost complete control. I was almost going to go to jail because somebody was saying stuff that I didn't like.
Well, I want to say I'm grateful because you know what I'm saying. I appreciate your honesty, man. You know what I mean? Because as your friend, as long as I've been your friend, I was actually there for that period of time.
Yes, he was.
I'm grateful that you made a call during those times or times like that. And ultimately, when you had your snap, I know God was in your life at this point in your life. And I believe, like I know you've testified, that snap back was a power that was not your own. Somebody had to snap you back in place and send your fist through the wall instead of somebody else's jaw. You know what I'm saying? The guy, Zach Stacy, and many other people out there don't have a fellowship in righteous manner. They don't fellowship with God. They have no fellowship. They have knowledge of him. They have understanding of him to the degree of whatever church or denomination they've been exposed to. They mama pray and everybody pray and they pray when they getting ready to do the worst crimes. But some people don't believe that it makes a difference. You know, we watched a video of what happens when it ain't there. When that guard, you know what I'm saying? When that shield and buckler is what the Bible says. You know what a buckler is? It means even when you crash the car, even when it might have been your aspect, maybe you fell asleep. When your seatbelt is buckled in, it keeps you in position. It keeps you in place. It keeps you where you're supposed to be. And most people in the midst of the chaos that they're going through, when things have gone out of control, the first thing they want to do is unsnap that buckle. And they want to jump out. Try to get their own bearings. In that moment, they forget trying to get their own bearings, that they gave up their own bearings at the cross. You're trying to get something that you gave up a long time ago, but because of the chaos, you're trying to get something that you let die a long time ago. You're not supposed to be trying to get your bearings in the midst of the chaos. You're supposed to try to find the way. Broad is the way that leads to destruction. Narrow is the way that leads to God. And even though everybody is not going to come to Christ, everybody ain't going to believe what the Bible says about how much God will be in your corner if you choose him. But still, we have to tell somebody. We have to hope that somebody can hear. We have to remember that even though we voice our opinions about everybody else, some of y'all maybe somebody in the story that Ulysses just gave called him SOB or deserved to be locked up or shouldn't have this or shouldn't have that. I'm sure there were people in that time that probably felt that way if they were told the story in that moment. But the truth is, the narrative isn't theirs. Your actions in the moment matter. And when you have an anchor like Jesus Christ, when you have an anchor like God, when you have something to go back to help guide you like the scriptures, it makes a difference in your life. You know what I mean? Many of us just need to accept the fact that back in 2019, we lost control. Back in 2020, we lost control. You know what I mean? Control was gone. We just been on a roller coaster of denial ever since. We need to accept that we're fresh out of control. The world is fresh out of control, but God isn't. And if you keep God in your life, God will make sure that there's something that you didn't even know was beyond your own efforts of controlling things. It'll be the Holy Spirit that will take control of your life. It'll be the Spirit of God that starts to control your narrative, start controlling your mind, start controlling your relationships, start controlling your emotions. But we just want to shout out to everybody that's out there that's going through some of your toughest days. Listen, there's hope. You ain't got to snap and give in to the chaos. You ain't got to make an excuse for an aspect of your identity that you're ashamed of. You just have to accept it is out of your control. Maybe God made it that way. And if God made it that way, maybe he's the only one gonna get you through the storm. You listen, you know what I'm saying? The one thing I know is that as many storms as we've gone through and told each other about, the revelation on the other side of the storm when you're trusting on God is like, when you tell other people, they think you're older than you are. They think you've been at it longer than you have been. But it's the revelation, in the pressure cooker.
Man, I think, for me, man, I think the enemy comes to provoke. That's the job of the enemy. Literally, like the next day after that whole incident, the ex tried to call the family members to tell her side of the story.
Yeah.
But literally, the people that she talked to were the same people who knew exactly who I was. And one of them had to correct her and be like, that's not who he is. You provoked the situation.
And the truth.
And so here's the thing. The enemy will use whoever, the closest people to you, to provoke you to do things. Now, it's, again, the Bible even declares, parents, do not provoke your children to anger. That means you have the power to stop. You have that power to stop. What the enemy does is that he wants to provoke you to act out of character and then blame you for acting out of character. That's what the enemy wants to do. When it feels like it's fresh out of control, remind yourself, God is in control. When you remind yourself, and it has to be intentional, because when you're in that moment, the last thing you think about is God's in control. God is in control. And you're just
so go to him for the answer.
No, you have to remind yourself. If it's what is the enemy trying to provoke me to do? What is he trying to get? How is he trying to get me to act out of character? And be able to understand what the enemy is trying to do is to get you. And here's the key. Because we are in Christ and Christ is enough.
Mm-hmm.
How, you know the whole phrase, what would Jesus do? Everybody put in a wristband and a shirt. It's a cool little slogan, but nobody really pays attention to the powerful meaning behind that.
I did. Go ahead.
What would Jesus do? What would Jesus do in this situation? And because you are in him, you're in him, he's in you. How are you going to respond when everything is fresh, out of control?
Man. Woo! Woo! All right, y'all. We gotta get up out of here. We're gonna be over here so long. But listen, we appreciate y'all sticking with us. We appreciate you guys opening up in the comment section, Brother Glenn. We see, you know what I'm saying? You already know you in the credits, you know what I'm saying, in the opening closing. So if you want to be our guest on the show, you already know. It's an open invitation. Some of y'all been following the show for a while and y'all ain't been on here yet. But we gotta if y'all feel like you want to be on a topic in the middle of the show, push the issue. We got a generic little template, you know what I'm saying? We can bring you on in the moment. If you just was like, you know what? Let me say something real quick. Either way, we appreciate y'all in the comment section. This whole time y'all have been communicating with us, and it makes it easier for us to communicate to you guys. We just had an idea, topic of conversation we wanted to bring to our brothers and sisters that are out there viewing us, and strangers who may, come across our page for whatever reason on YouTube or Facebook. Feel free to like and subscribe to the page on YouTube. Feel free to follow us on Facebook. You know what I mean? Share our videos. We leave them shareable. But like I said, we just try to come up with topics that can anchor a conversation. We talk all over the place. Y'all know how we do. We go left, right, but we're going to stay anchored on the topic. And I think that a lot of great things were said today. So we appreciate you guys for sticking with us for the extra time that we've been on. In the future, we're going to be releasing on a new YouTube page clips of what's going on here on the show with a little bit more editing going on to them. So we're excited about that, just getting people on board and trying to draw in more and more people to give their perspective on what we're talking about. Sometimes we talk in our circles about these same subjects that we talk about here on the F.I.R.M podcast. So join us Saturday nights, 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, live while we're on the air, 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. We usually try to go an hour. We went over today. I think it was worth
just a little bit.
You know what I mean? Just a little bit. It was worth it. Yeah. We'll be back tomorrow. You know what I mean? We'll be back on Sunday. We kind of switch the order of things up on Sunday's live broadcast. You know what I'm saying? We kind of get into the word. Today, a lot was said. Whether you listen, you know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? My friend, my homie. I appreciate you sharing, like it was said in the comment section. I echo the sentiment of you opening up about that real moment, what you was really going through. It matters. You know what I mean? At that moment, the actions you were taking, you was fresh out of control. There was no more control here or there. But with God. That's what the church folks say. But God.
But God.
Yea, Lord. Steadied your hand. And the vision that you saw didn't come to pass. You know what I'm saying? You saw no teeth. The Lord said, let there be teeth. You know what I'm saying? You saw white, but it wasn't bone white. It was the wall.
It was the wall.
Hey, man, I'm sure y'all can share a story or two. Hit us up at the F.I.R.M 365 24/7. You can hit us up at our Gmail, the F.I.R.M 365 24/7. You can hit us up in our inbox or our DMs. If there's something that you got to get off your chest, something that you want to share with us, based off of what we fellowshipped, everything we talked about is still on the table. You know what I'm saying? So if you guys want to be on, let us know. Reach out to us or we'll reach out to you. Never know what we have planned. But That's it. That's all I got, brother.
Hey, as Flavor said, join us tomorrow, noon Eastern Standard Time for the United Body of Christ, where the Apostle Flavius Tyler will be bringing the Word of God. So make sure y'all tune in noon Eastern Standard Time. Let the people know. You know, if you have your own home church, amen. Praise the Lord for that. Hey, go ahead and get the advertiser and come back for the dessert.
That's right.
Come back for the dessert. But we love y'all. Appreciate every single one of you guys. And we'll see y'all next week.
Next week. Be back. We only getting better and better.
Be released from that anger, resentment, and bitterness. You know, that's evident.
Our context on it, and it kind of changed the definition.
Convinced himself that he's sufficient for himself.
I love discipleship. Why I love mentoring.
The us and the us and them is ever growing.
Facebook posts, Instagram posts, just another way of connecting with people.
Saturday, 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time for another great conversation of F.I.R.M podcast.